early.
Let's
Hold on, no, let's go.
Let's get to it.
And then he puts on the sickest mission. Hey, easy up.
Commission.
Easy up.
He said no sick beats.
Commission.
Hey man, you already know.
That's right. He wanted the playlist.
I don't know the words of this. I'll be wanting to know the words to it. But yo, let's get it started, y'all. Welcome to the commission.
Commission.
Welcome to the Commission Podcast, episode 55. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. What's good, peoples? IG Live, IG family, what's good?
What up?
Kev, what's good, man?
Early.
Mike, what's good, bro?
Yo,
That's my man.
Hey, we got new drops in the building. I'm your boy G.
Early.
Oh, that's why do I get the same one that you get?
We really got like 8 drops on the board.
Well, man, make me a new one. You gave Mike a unique one. I want a unique one as well. Yo, this video just dropped recently, too. Or it's dropping soon.
Yeah,
Coming
I think
soon.
they recorded it. I don't think it's out yet.
I don't agree with that selection as, you know.
It's going to be number one.
You think it's going to be number one?
Number one song, yeah. I do.
So disappointing because it's probably like the 7th best song on the album. But, you know.
I definitely
So goes the machine that is Drake. All right, guys, what's going on? What's up, fellas? You know what I mean, we came in here, we ready to record. We got a whole new concept going on, guys. So for those of you guys who are watching on your mobile devices, please feel free to interact with The Commission Pod.
The Commission.
Hopefully you're following us at The Commission Pod.
on Instagram.
Okay, I thought that was a
You thought we
that was the cue for another drop, bro.
We gotta work on that.
This is why we need Mike on the boards as well.
Yeah.
We need 2 board
Maybe
members
next
so that we
week.
can catch
Yo.
up, right? But yeah, so guys, ask us questions, interact with us. This is your time to get to know a little bit of the members of the commission. First things first, with our faces, you know, I think it's been a big mystery who each voice belongs to. So now you can see that yours truly owns the voice of Greg. Mike is Mike. And Kevin's Kevin.
What's up?
What's going on? So, what do we want to discuss this week, man? There was a lot going on. I'm not going to say the normal tagline because I think it's getting overused. I'm hearing a lot of other podcasts start to steal my swag. So, let's just get to the hottest topic of the last 24 hours, right? And I think that would be with one young Mr. Brown. We're not talking Bobby.
Not talking Bobby.
We're not talking Jimmy. That's James.
Christopher.
We are talking young Chris, not from the Young Guns.
Oh,
So Chris Brown was arrested in Paris. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi, bitches? Shout out to Lil Wayne. Yeah, he was arrested in Paris for raping a chick. What's up with that?
Allegedly. Let's chill out with that.
Okay, Kev with the tagline allegedly.
Allegedly.
So allegedly he was detained in Paris for sexually assaulting a young lady.
Yo, I thought she said it wasn't really him. It was somebody that was with him.
He was released
Mm-hmm.
and not charged with anything.
Okay.
Let's make sure we
Well, we're gonna
Get the
as
facts
the
straight.
story evolves. I was
Okay.
just starting at the chronological order was he was arrested.
Yeah, somebody
first.
texted me last night. My brother actually texted me like, "Oh man, Chris Brown raped a girl again." I'm like, "That's fake news."
Oh wow.
Damn, he just said like.
I mean, I know, like
he
you
raped
totally
the girl
dismissed it
again-
though.
Again, that's what he said.
Yeah, I think that.
Well,
was
he threw
that
that
was the
again
line.
in there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't
again.
even peep that. Yeah.
So the first one was false.
Yeah, the first one was false. Granted,
But mind
if we
you,
would have said Chris Brown beat a chick,
Again,
yeah, then it would have been a true statement, maybe.
possibly, but no, we're not even here for all that, right? So he was arrested. He was detained. He got released. The charges were dropped.
right?
Right. So that's round of applause for young Sea Breeze.
Is that really like?
The first thing that came to my mind though was, and I'm gonna let you go, but the first thing that came to my mind was, why do Chris Brown need to be raping somebody?
I don't know how do you even get yourself in a situation like that again, where you're getting in trouble.
Yo, you can always get into a situation.
Yeah,
because of
but
who you
I
are.
feel like as many times as he's been in these type of situations, or he should move better than that.
Well, that's why I find it harder to believe, because if you've been repeatedly found yourself in these type of scenarios, then common knowledge would say, okay, let's change something. Let's move differently. which makes it hard to believe that, I'm going to go to Paris and I'm going to wild out in a different country where they could possibly detain me and, hold my freedom.
Yeah, to be honest with y'all, I don't know how he's moving, but I don't think that has anything to do with it. I just think just because of who he is, if anybody go out there and say, this happened to me, it's going to be headline news.
Well, Mike, you had a theory.
Mm-hmm.
Because another announcement was made probably, 24, maybe a week prior,
Correct.
Maybe a week prior to this whole ordeal happening. And it was almost as if you was trying to identify a pattern. So I'll let you go ahead and take the floor. What did you see?
As soon as he, I guess, took more ownership of his career, his talent, all of a sudden the accusation comes out. So
he signed a new record deal and he owns his own masters, right?
Right, exactly. So with that being said, a week later he's in Paris and all of a sudden he's raping chicks in Paris, or he's gonna
allegedly.
I don't see that happening. Like, once again, back to what Greg said, you Chris Brown, you don't need to. It ain't no box out there that's that crazy that you putting your freedom on the line for it.
Shout out to Shroz23 who said, "Yo, where's your Chris Brown lover for this week's episode?"
Oh shoot, yo,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to KP. KP actually was on a plane to Paris.
Oh,
yeah. I mean? he was on a plane to Paris.
If it was only Drake, we could play the other drop.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so I found that ironic because this is not an uncommon thing, right? Where someone tries to position themselves to gain a bit of authority, ownership of their own career, and for whatever reason, a mishap occurs, and it's just, the irony is just incredible.
Yeah, and you hate to kind of compare every one of them individually because they all are different in their own right, but it does have the same underlying effect. Like, it was somebody trying to do X, Y, Z. Next thing you know, something comes out to kind of destroy that, and that's what I think happened with Chris. Could
be. I think that for him, I think the announcement that was made, him owning his masters, that was huge. Like, I think that that's something that. I don't know everybody understands the gravity of an artist like Chris Brown owning his masters.
The difference, though, is like an artist that at that caliber that owns their own masters.
Because it's like, and we've made the comparisons, and I feel like every week Robert's name comes up. But it is. It's like R. Kelly owning everything.
When you say teenage, how old are we talking?
We talking old enough to vote. That's what we talking. I'm saying. So yeah. So it's just ironic because I'm like, yo, that's a big deal. It's kind of going overshadowed now with this whole rape allegation and stuff. Well, I don't even know if the rape allegations thing is really worth commenting on, just off the strength that he's not. It's fraud. It's erroneous. It's fake.
He's countersuing the woman,
and that's what I wanted the conversation to be about. What happens next?
Yeah.
A countersuit to the woman?
So
she ain't got no bread.
She is like a model or something, right? Like
she ain't got Chris Brown bread.
She definitely doesn't have Chris Brown's money, but I almost think that was it a setup from the rip for the look for her? Because now, like, I was eating dinner tonight, and this was on the World News. This story was Lester Holt had this on World News, and there was pictures of this woman. And so I'm like, is it the setup for the girl now? Like, yo, if this comes out, I make these accusations, I get the look, and then I'm in. I could be this big star now.
This was on World News.
It was on Lester.
So what's she doing?
No, wait. You know what? It was. Well, it comes on after World News. It was the Mario Lopez.
Entertainment tonight. Come on,
my
that's
bad.
totally different.
Hold up. I'm gonna give myself a shot for that.
That's like TMZ, bro.
Yeah,
like,
what? Right.
But listen, because it came up right after. I was eating dinner tonight, and it was on, and it came on right after.
Yo, you can't give
World
me entertainment news
My bad,
tonight.
my bad.
News is his. Yeah, Lester Holt. You know what I mean? What?
But that's
Dan Rather said, "What the fuck?"
Regardless, man, it's still making news.
It's making news. No, it's not.
It's on NBC.
Even with the countersuit, though, only thing that is just to show. I think personally, because like Greg said, I don't think he's gonna get nothing out of it. Like, but it just shows that you probably just not gonna sit there and allow somebody to throw throw dirt on your name, I guess. So you willing to even take her back to court because he's gonna financially he's gonna lose out because he's gonna have to pay some money that he would have never had to pay if they would have just allowed him to come back in the States and these accusations were never filed. So He's still paying. That's what the craziest thing about it.
But it should be more on the one. Like if you file a false report,
Yeah, you should have just as much accountability as the
Thank you.
person that you filed it against. Like,
and that's my
it's
point.
defamation of character. It's
I don't want to
slander.
just take you to court though, because now to Mike's, I gotta spend money for that. No, why am I
That should
spending
be
money?
something that the
That should be-
prosecution should
Thank
automatically
you.
do. And
yeah,
not for nothing.
get them a public defendant and let them, let the state prosecute them for that, for wasting man hours.
And not for nothing, if it's brought out to be like it's one thing, and let's compare the trials. It's one thing to be like, let's say the R. Kelly situation where there's a video, there's a victim, and let's just say the jury decides that he's found not guilty. All right, cool. But if it's a situation where it's somebody that's made false accusations to try to, for whatever type of clout or fame they was looking for, I think your punishment should probably be the same as what their punishment would have been if he would have been found guilty.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like if he was to get, let's just say if he would have got 5 years for that, and it comes out that nothing happened, not even nothing happened, but he was never even there, the accusations was false, it was all fabricated and made up, you should probably get, at least half of that, if not the full 5 years. Because you would have took him 5 years away from his freedom.
No, I'm not mad at you for that. I understand where you're coming from. There should definitely be some type of accountability. I don't know what the jail time should look like
I think it
or
should just be
anything
like
like
a
that.
fine or something,
But-
depending on the situation.
Nah, man,
But-
fine. Like, because if I got found guilty, let's just say if I ain't had the means
Yeah,
to
but if you got
defend
found
myself,
guilty, you was most likely in the wrong already anyway.
Facts. But then the other part of it is, though, my thing is this. If I file a false report against another party and my reputation has taken a devastating blow, regardless of what happened, whether it's true or not, Chris Brown lost something in reputation. He got people calling Cav talking about, yo, Chris Brown raped somebody again. That's a negative hit to his reputation substantially. That should not be allowed, and that should not go without consequence. And I should not have to put up money in order to do so. It should. And the other part of it is, in the climate that we're in right now,
exactly.
if you gonna go out here and make these type of false claims, then to Mike's point, go under the goddamn jail, because you're destroying lives out here. You're destroying legacies. You're destroying reputations. Yo, it's such a big deal, man. For real, for real.
You're innocent in the public eye. You're innocent now, or guilty now, from the rip until proven innocent.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But it's always been like that. Like, you're always guilty until proven.
I think it's gotten worse though in the past 10 years. Like
Social media,
and
yeah,
stuff have
obviously.
not helped that situation.
The court of
out one
public
bit.
opinion, though, has always, judged people. Like, OJ's been guilty for 20, 30 years now, even though he got off.
Yeah,
Technically.
come on, man.
I'm just saying, man, if you watched the trial and then watched it again a year or so ago, then you would know that, the boy beat the case. What do you want him to do?
He beat it, and then Cuba beat it.
And then Cuba beat it, right?
Yeah.
And then he got locked up on some bullshit. So, I'm just saying, we believing the judicial system? Or
So
what?
we're 20 days, 23 days into the new year, and they've already come for R. Kelly.
Yeah.
And they come for Chris
Well, that was
Brown now,
calculated.
too.
The R. Kelly one was
Yeah, R.
calculated.
Kelly
They
one
was
was-
going.
that was
They
a
was going to
setup.
get him out of there.
Yeah, they
The
got-
Chris Brown one was a little bit of a surprise. We didn't see that one coming. We kind of got blindsided. But either way,
we should have been expecting something though. If you think about it,
Nah, because he's been
For
kind of
Chris?
straight for a couple
why
of
not?
years.
Yo, it ain't even about what he's doing. It's about what he's doing in the sense that
hold up, brother Mike about to put on the koofy. Go ahead, Mike.
nah, it's about yeah.
I'm just
I
fucking with
probably got to
I'm
put
just
the goofy
fucking
on.
with you.
Nah, but it's about what he's doing in his own life, like the moves that he's making, like
Mhm.
his fan base and his popularity has allowed him to go in there demanding, if y'all want me to put out more music, I need to have more ownership. And he's able to do that. Like, unfortunately, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's a credit to his popularity independently, though.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Like, I don't even. Why does he even need to be on the label? Why does anybody anymore need to be on the label?
An artist of his caliber, I don't know, because he has such a following as it is. Like,
You see the stands
Yeah.
that flock are even around here. You know what I mean? Like, Chris Brown has stands for days, male and female.
But it's probably it ain't even about like you need them for financial reasons.
Right.
It's basically you can use them to like for their let's say like the machine that comes with it, like booking this or taking care of that, like stuff that they already got in place where you don't gotta manually go out there and get somebody and then pay it out of your pocket and recoup. These guys has already got that machine in line where that's just they just throwing you out there. Here, this is what our package is. This is how we promote you. This is how we do this. This is how we do that. Yada yada yada. It's like, you know, buying like all 3 services with a one provider.
Right.
Let's just say versus spreading everything
But
out.
that ideal is dated though, because they don't know. Like
it's
right now,
dated for somebody that doesn't have like
A huge following.
a huge following.
Yeah.
It's dated.
no, it's not. No,
It
I
is.
disagree. I don't think it's dated because they don't know. Like, yo, I was watching show. They don't know. Every platform has a different definition of what one stream is.
Yeah, but
That's a problem in itself. They're not uniform. So if they're not uniform, they don't know. They're guessing. They're guessing just like the artist is coming up there
are you
asking
talking
for
about
their
how many
help.
one stream is, or how much you're getting paid for a stream?
No. The value of one stream across the board. Now, what it's paid out is different amongst each platform, but I don't think that that's been solely determined because you hear 1 week a person's number one in hard sales, but streaming numbers boosted their hard volume sales over the top. The physical copies versus the streaming copies is just so confusing. Like, you just don't understand, and the record labels don't understand, and the streaming services don't understand. So they don't.
Nah.
There's no uniformity as far as how artists are even getting paid for things that are going viral and that are streaming. We just pre-production meeting. We talked about a potential payout if we were to get X amount of streams on a weekly basis, right? But that's only on one platform. Like, it's not universal. So it's like no one really knows. We just guessing out here. That's how I feel. And if we could regulate, and I think what's going to happen, what's going to scare the death out of me, is that the government will regulate this and then take complete control and take a huge percentage
streams
of
I'm sure they're
something.
already getting some type of. They are getting a percentage of, you know, those businesses.
I mean, the funny thing about it is, we never gonna know what the value of anything, to be honest with you, because we can even take this to, let's go to the housing market, right? They can even tell you, like, right now your house is worth say, $500,000 until some, you know what I mean, to some numbers. And
That's what happened in the housing market,
I know,
though.
exactly.
But you're
That's
right.
what I'm saying.
That's exactly what happened.
So even like right now, it'd be like right now, all right, is a seller's market.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, should I sell my house right now? That's the and actually get that check and then just hold on to it because, you know, in a little bit it's going to wind up being a buyer's market because everything is probably going to do is, you know, do the 180
that's facts.
How things normally go.
Yep.
And then it's just like, so if you're not selling, and that's what obviously some of the rich people do. They sell when everything is high.
Yep. It's about
get that money.
looking for the wave, riding that wave, and trying to get ahead of that wave. And if you can get ahead of that wave, then you can profit off of that wave, which is like when I totally, the housing thing was a great analogy.
Yeah, like
because
somebody always
that's
told me,
real.
like your house is only worth what somebody is willing to pay you for it, which is true. Like if, let's say if Cav's house worth $500,000, but he can't get nobody to buy it.
Could be.
You know what I mean? I'm just throwing out numbers. You know what I mean? I thought it was a little bit more, but you know.
Cav's a baller though. You know what I mean? He
Yeah,
only bought it for a bean. He bought it for 100, sell it for 5.
He was only willing to pay the boy that
it
lived
was
there.
a buyer's market.
Yeah,
It
it
was
is.
a buyer's market.
It
All
was.
right.
You already know.
But that's what I'm saying. To me, that's like those numbers are exaggerated and fake, and that's why that bubble bursts, and then things come back down to reality of what people can actually afford. But if you were somebody that was selling when it was, you know, a seller's market, then technically you did cash out just based on a fake wave that we was told that, hey, the houses, the value went up all crazy. Like this is that. You know what I mean?
The streaming thing is different too than like physically having to go and purchase an album, because you literally had to, like when they did album sales, like pure album sales, you had to go out to the store and you had to physically pay money and buy that one album. Now, if I have like 10 devices, I could just log into all those devices and stream it.
Right.
And you get multiple streams.
That's so funny because one of our viewers, shout out to the viewing public, just commented. Shout out to Chantel the One. You know what I mean? Pop Not Soda Podcast, always popping. The way we consume music is the main key. The labels are not as beneficial anymore. And that's an insightful quote because that's exactly what you're saying. We don't consume the way I'm not buying a physical copy from Best Buy. They don't even fucking sell CDs. I'm going to my phone. If it's there, if I like it, cool. If I don't like it, I'm passing on it. Most of the time, the music I consume, honestly, is passed through me through, I don't know how Kev gets it, in the chat.
Don't worry about it.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Kev is the sole reason why Napster no longer exists.
Yeah. But I think honestly, like if you're a new artist and let's say you do need a little bit of startup capital,
Right.
then you can't go independent because you don't have no independent like financial backing.
I think the artists still look to get signed. Like that's still the goal for some of these new artists.
But Jay
like,
said it best.
Tekashi, right?
Jay said it best. You know what I mean? We looked up the Billboard when we was young.
yeah,
Now we look up the Billboard like, is you dumb? Like,
Right.
why is you looking up to these guys? Like, why
Yeah.
do we need their validation? Why
Yeah,
does
we-
Kevin Hart need to host the Oscars for validation for what? This motherfucker's already solidified. And that's
Great
the thing.
point.
Why are we looking for labels? We don't need to look at the labels anymore. And that's, I think, what is transitioning in artistry and music right now is like no one is going to sit down and try to pitch to anybody. You know what you're going to do? We're going to buy our own equipment. We're going to put out our own
Right.
content, and we're going to post it and see what happens. And I think more and more people are of that mindset, and that's what's changing the game. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with the independent thing. Like I said, I ain't got no knocks against it. But if you're a new artist, though, I think sometimes like, and you don't have like a TDE or somebody like that, like another independent, because they're not a label technically. You know what I'm saying? As an independent management company, if you don't have that behind you, that's willing to, forego some of the upfront expenses, then what's up? What we got?
No, I'm just, she's putting in some, I mean,
Oh, we listen. Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
That's why we
yeah,
live. I'm sorry.
yeah, we are
y'all.
live. You got to remember, man, we got people out here,
Yo,
you know
the
what I'm saying,
interaction,
just
all
out
right.
here posting. Thanks for stopping by, Chantel, for real. You giving a lot of good insight, you know what I mean, former Def Jam affiliate and so forth. But yeah, man, so I feel like that's an important thing, but I think the opportunity to create your own is better than it's ever been before.
And let me finish my thought, too.
Go ahead.
As long as you can, like, to me, as long as you can actually, because nowadays the labels aren't needed as much, so you don't have to sign those bogus contracts.
Nah.
Like, you should be better with your business where you like, look, I only need y'all to do. For instance, it's still people like, let's say, I think T.I. did a deal with, was it Epic
Mm-hmm.
lately? So it's like he's signing to them, I only need y'all for X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when they
If
do that, the
these-
music's done like that. They go there with a project and they present the project, and they just need them to
Oh, yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
market
That's what
it.
I'm saying.
Like,
Shout out to Hole for
yeah, like
introducing
here's
that
my
segue.
project.
Yep.
I need you to market it and give me some money to.
Shout out to Chance for reinventing it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like you
They're not
see
going
what
there
guys
for
are
like
doing.
a studio budget
Right,
and all that
right.
stuff.
It's strictly, I have a product. I want you to buy my product so you can sell it, but buy it though. Like, don't just cut me a percentage or don't just throw me in advance. No, buy my product. Almost as if
We're in business together.
Yeah.
almost
At
as
this
if I'm
point.
pitching something to like Walgreens or Walmart or Whole Foods, and I have this great idea of an invention, and I want you to just distribute it through but cut me the check for this. Like, this is mine. I want a percentage off of everything you sell as well. You know what I mean? And that's how we should probably be
I
negotiating
think
business.
most of the Rock Nation deals are like that, like the Freeway and the Jim Jones.
Yeah.
and like, hey, here's the project.
Right.
Now I need you to
Yeah.
just market it,
Right. I can see that.
and it's a 50-50 split.
I don't even think they doing the marketing, to be honest with you. I think they leave that on you.
Well,
Like,
definitely
your
Rock
buzz.
Nation, they definitely doing that. I've never seen Rock Nation do anything
What, marketing wise?
to push an artist. Nah.
Yeah, I that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's on you.
Yeah.
Like,
CJ Cole for that. Like, how long did
Nah.
it take for him to
They
really
put
blow?
Freeway on the Run tour. They had him opening up for them.
That's not pushing an artist.
Yes, it is. That's pushing the artist to sign to your label.
I don't think that's pushing an artist.
That's a huge look for. That's the biggest tour of last year.
That's great, but like no one is aware of Freeway in this climate.
I
unless
didn't know he
you're-
was opening up on
You know what I'm
that, to be
saying?
honest
Unless
with you.
you're a
You didn't go to the
stand
tour,
for
right?
Beyonce,
I didn't go
and
to-
that's the downside, right? Now you're limiting the amount of people that you're exposing him to.
Yeah,
Like,
but you're
everybody's
also,
not
you're
buying-
you're also giving them exposure to people who they might never be exposed to.
That's great, but what's his demographic? Is his demographic
not- they're
Beyonce
not-
fans?
Yeah.
It's Jay-Z fans.
I mean, but Jay-Z's only half of the show, and most of the show is about Beyonce.
I don't know about that.
What do you mean you don't know about
Both
that?
of y'all went?
What, to On the Run?
Yeah.
I went to.
I went to the one.
No, I didn't go to On a Run tour.
Okay.
No, I didn't go. Yeah.
But they had Yo Gotti. They had a bunch of artists
That's
that decided
great.
to rock. All the Rock Nation artists were there.
I mean, I would expect Rock Nation artists to stay to perform and be headline. I mean, opening acts for Beyonce. I mean, that goes without saying. It's a company, but no, I don't think that's a push to me. I think a push is okay. You know what? Let's put you on a press tour run. Let's get your Let's get your project on certain websites. Let's get people to market your stuff. Let's go on World Star and have your project up there like how they advertised Future's project last weekend. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of marketing.
You can buy that ad space. That would
Yeah, buy some ad space or something. Get me a billboard or something. Like don't just have me make your show better. Like that's really what you're doing. You pimping me. You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, go ahead and kick it to them for a couple minutes, like what they did with Khaled in every city that they toured. You know, he would be the opening act for Beyonce and get the local artists of that area to go out and perform. You're not going to tell me Freeway opened every city. I would only believe maybe the East Coast, maybe Philly, maybe a Jersey show, maybe New York, maybe D.C. I'm only giving you 4. I'm not giving you any more than that.
All right.
I'm just saying. And that was a world tour, not your girl tour. Yo, we was talking about this fire-ass documentary over the week.
Yo. Crazy.
Yo, you introduced it to us, man.
Yeah, I cannot believe the stuff that guy got away with. The FYRE Festival documentary, if you have not watched it yet, there's 2 of them, actually.
Yeah.
There's one on Netflix, which is the one I saw, and then there's one on Hulu, which I believe the guy Billy McFarland got paid for.
Yeah,
I
that's what
think he got $1 million for that
I
one.
think that one's a little bit different.
Billy's the
his
ultimate
fines.
hustler, bro.
Yo, that guy is probably one of the best salespeople that I've ever seen. I don't, obviously don't know the guy.
I don't even know if it was really sales though.
Yo, he was flying back home. They were like you watch the doc, so he would go. They run out of money.
About? What's the documentary?
So the
about
documentary's about the company was the FYRE company, right? I think that was the name of the.
Right.
They had a fire app.
Yeah, so the app was basically supposed to allow you. It was basically going to be like to book the Uber of booking artists.
Right.
Like you could go on their app and you could, if you want to have Lil Wayne come to your club or your party, you could book Lil Wayne through their app.
Right.
So then they decided to throw a festival to kind of promote the app and the launch of it. And really the festival became, to me, it looked like the main source of income, and the app was just like something they were doing as an afterthought.
No. The way I interpreted it was the festival was going to be the launch of the app. Because the app actually was a great idea.
I think it was a great idea. I'm talking about the way, I think he realized, like, well, I'm getting crazy money off this festival, and the app was just like, all right,
let's
whatever.
push this festival.
Yeah, let's push the festival, and we'll about
come
the
back
app
to that.
after.
Do you think Timon has anything to do with that? Like, during that time, what was it, like 15, 16?
This was last year.
Was it just
Nah, it was
last year?
2016.
I
think
thought it was
when
like
they
at least 2
started.
years ago. But either way, right? The timing, when I say that is that all of a sudden all these festivals are popping up everywhere. It used to be like a European thing, but here in the States, now we're getting all these festivals. Made in America, Coachella, Burning Man, Rolling Loud. Like, yeah, they're everywhere. So do you think Cuz was like, you know what? That's a lane that I could get into and really, really capitalize in alignment with this app, and just got too greedy?
Well, I think he's a greedy dude to begin with. Like, if you looked at that first company he had, which was that Magnesium credit card company,
the
where
metal joint.
Yeah,
it's kind of fly.
It was, but the way he sold people on, like, you could come to these exclusive parties and like these wine tastings and things like that. But I can't remember what the number was, but they were getting like $1 million.
It was $250 for membership.
Yeah, but I think over a course of like a couple months, they had generated like over $1 million.
Yeah, they had so many people.
Fees.
Yeah, exactly.
So this guy figured out ways to pimp people left and right. But the festival, the way he was able to generate so much money and get all these influencers, like he had the top supermodels in the world out in the Bahamas for a photo shoot, and then he had them all post that tile of on their Instagram, and once that happened, it just took off.
Oh, that was dope.
I thought it was cool. Like, the whole rollout at the beginning, I thought was great, the way he marketed everything, and then when it came time to actually start executing things, it was a train wreck.
Because when was it supposed to happen?
When? What do you mean? When
I'm
was
thinking like around what time of year was it? Was it around spring break time, or was it like?
I don't know.
I forget.
Whatever time it was supposed to be, there was like a huge event going on in.
In the Bahamas.
Did you say that? Is it Yuma?
I think it was Yuma.
Is that how you say it?
I don't know. I'm not Bohemian, but thank you. No, I don't know. I think it is Yuma. I think it is the Yuma Festival, which is a big festival in the islands, and everybody comes. It's almost like Carabana in Toronto. It's just
Right.
a Caribbean festival.
The
Okay.
thing that was dope about it, though, if you
Julie.
think about it,
In Jamaica.
is one of them things where, like, not only are you going to a festival, but you also kind of like a spring break vibe to it.
Yeah, and the way he he was selling things that he didn't even have.
He just sold
Right.
dreams.
Yeah,
He's
he
really
literally
good
did.
at selling dreams. And honestly, if you look at his history, that's what Magnesium was.
It was.
Magnesium was, all right, well, you got this card. Now you're entitled
Knock off
to
of a black card.
It was, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it was metal, so when
it
you
was
dropped
metal,
it,
yeah. It
you
had
know?
made a sound,
Yeah.
so it's like, oh, okay, this official is heavy. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it was a knockoff of a black card, but it was like for VIP events and
Exactly.
exclusive like parties and things of that nature, and that's how he got affiliated with Ja. The story of how him and Ja got cool is hilarious to me.
It's through Magnesium, right?
It was through Magnesium, but did you see when they was at a banquet and or like the launch of the FYRE app, and it was at some type of tech conference, and they was explaining where the idea came from for the FYRE app. And basically what Billy was saying was, well, you know, I wanted to book Ja Rule for an event, and they told me to call Gutter. And
yeah.
when I went to call Gutter told me, all right, it's going to be $500, and then I get you in front of Ja. So I gave Gutter $500, and I ended up talking to some guy named Spoonie. And Spoonie said it's going to be $1,000, and I can get you in front of Ja. I paid Spoonie the $1,000, and he comes back to me and said, yeah, Ja didn't like the numbers, so beat it. So I'm thinking to myself, well, it's got to be a better way. That's where it spawned the idea of, well, maybe we could centralize all acts and have one vehicle to book them. It would, make the process of booking artists a lot more easier, a lot more streamlined.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of a funny story. But that's basically how he spawned the idea. And then he finally did get in contact with Ja Rule, who started attending the events, the Magnesium events, and it kind of all grew
How
from there.
culpable is Ja Rule in all of this?
Man, listen, I think Ja Rule was just thankful for the opportunity to be kind of like at the ground floor of what could be like a big startup.
It makes him another laughing stock.
I mean, the funniest thing that Ja Rule said was, what did he say?
He introduced him as music.
He
mogul.
introduced
Yeah.
himself as a big music
It's
mogul.
a tech mogul and a music mogul combining or conglomerate.
I would have told Ja, like, first of all, let somebody else call you a music mogul.
Well, Kevin wasn't there.
Yeah,
so that's
that
in
is
fairness.
true. That is
Irv
true.
wasn't
In
there.
fairness. Well, Kev wasn't there first, and
Yeah.
then Irv.
Yeah.
It
Irv
goes-
wasn't there.
That's the hierarchy of Murder Inc., just so you know.
Yeah, man,
Chris Scotty wasn't
You know what
there.
I'm saying? It goes,
Yeah.
yeah. Those
Yeah.
are all after,
But no, I think Ja, like, he thought he was. I don't know, man. It just looked like he
He
didn't know
was
it was
there
anything.
from the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
how do you not see all these decisions
'Cause he's
being
a
made
fucking
and
idiot.
the execution
Because
going down?
If you feel like there's a lot of people in the room that's smarter than you,
Yeah.
just happy to be a part of. Like, once again, this is a brand new startup.
And I haven't been relevant in like 15 years at this point. Like, let's be clear here. Like, my relevancy, my popularity.
So to
you know what
Kev's
I'm
point,
saying?
then,
Like,
to Kev's point, how did he not know that this had to been a scam? Because why would they be chasing you? You haven't been relevant, and like you just
well,
said,
he wasn't booked to perform. Granted, I'm sure he would have made his way on stage at some point during the festival, but
Yeah, to pick up somebody's.
He
What, to
wasn't-
change the band equipment out? Or, you know what I'm saying? What? What was he
he
gonna
was
do?
not booked to perform. I don't know. He was just. I guess he was just an operating partner in it, but he was involved in all of the
Did he get scammed out of any
beginning
money?
decision. I'm sure he did. I just don't. It looked like a
All
party.
he is
It
a
just looked like a
face.
party.
Well,
The whole
that's what
thing.
the shoot was. Like, the advertisement of the event was the event. That's
Yeah,
what they said in
they
the
said in
doc.
the
Like, yeah, man. Like, yeah, when we had all it, when the Bohemian guy was funny. He's like, yeah, man, you should see all the models and everything is there. But they had no organization on how they wanted to do it. Even the girls who were hired to attend didn't know what they were doing. Josh talking about, yeah, what Mike, he say? We gonna
Oh,
jump
yeah,
in the
I'm
water and then y'all gonna follow us in the water or something crazy like that.
And she honestly
And the
said,
girl was looking at it, it's like,
why
why?
am I gonna do that?
Why would I do that?
Like,
like, what do we, what? I don't
because you gotta follow me.
Right.
Nah, I'm not out here for that.
You're right, because it's
It-
FYRE Fest, and this is what we do,
Yeah.
and baby put it on me, and all this other
They
Oscar
like-
the Grouch type noises.
They wasn't out there begging for no checks.
They
had
definitely
already been
wasn't.
paid.
Right.
They like, nah, we stop when the sun goes down.
Yeah,
Like,
we're the
jump in
top
there.
models in the world. Like the fact that I'm even taking what made it fire was their pictures, not even the
Yeah,
professional
exactly.
pictures that were being taken by the people that they hired and the photographers and the camera crew and the videographers, but of the models on their phones themselves.
So I'm just curious though, like what's going
Pussy
on?
really
where-
does run the world. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay.
That's really what it was. That's really what it was. I'm sorry, I had to say that.
But how deep is the relationship with Ja and this guy, where Ja's not being, well, I guess a lot of them are not really being held liable. He's the only one that's been held liable for the scams and stuff like that.
At the end of the show or the end of the documentary, they kind of go through
Yeah,
like 4 main people that were
but the only one,
involved in the decision making. He's the only one I think that ended up in jail.
yeah, Billy's the only one that got fined or in jail. I think
Mhm.
the other guys just was embarrassed and
Quick question for
walked
y'all,
away.
right? Because and if anybody's on that live, you
the
know what I
guys on the
mean?
live want us to talk about middle child.
We'll get to that.
We
We'll get
just
to
got
that.
somebody that posted like, "Yo, man, when did I miss the middle child
I
talk?"
want to before we get off the FYRE Fest thing. I kind of want to talk about the execution of the day of the event.
Yeah, that
and
was
the
funny.
train wreck that
Oh my
was.
God.
So they were selling like cabanas and homes on
Villas.
their villas, and I think the craziest flex that they did was the wristband thing,
Oh my
where these
God.
guys had
That was
these
such a
guys
hustle.
and girls, men and women had already spent thousands of dollars on tickets to the festival, airfare for the festival,
Right.
room and board. And then after they've already spent thousands of dollars for that, they said the only way you'll be able to buy things at the festival, i.e. food, water, etc., will be if you load money onto these wristbands.
Mhm.
And I think he's
The
the
Disney
guy
flex.
Andy said in like 24 to 48 hours they had gotten $800,000 loaded on these wristbands.
That's not even the finesse, Kev. The finesse is there's no wireless technology
No,
on
that-
that
yeah, that's
side
what I
of
mean.
the
They
island.
didn't have
They
any
can't even-
internet connection.
Right.
Like you got money, but you can't even use it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, yo, that is a
So
Wow.
then
That's a
that doesn't
mean
work.
finesse.
There's no running water
yeah.
where the event's taking
There's no
place.
buildings.
Yeah, there's no buildings.
It's really no.
They sold these cabanas and villas, and when the guests arrive, they're told they're going to be on a luxury airplane. It looked like they just took a regular plane,
Yeah.
they slapped the FYRE logo on
Yeah,
it,
that's basically. what
and
it is.
people just sat in coach. There was
Yes.
nothing
I
extravagant
think one guy
about
took the
it.
window out of his.
Yeah.
train. I thought that was kind of.
They land in the Bahamas.
But that's not funny though. That's not the. You missed one critical part.
What's that?
So what made it priceless, right? These guys have been working, busting their ass to get this area set up to be somewhat presentable, not even nice.
Right.
They're really, really frantic trying to put it all together. They somewhat put it together. I guess it hadn't rained in weeks, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
And then the night before the first plane arrives, it pours down raining. They got mattresses outside, like everything is wrecked. And the most ironic part of it was the guy who was telling that story. He was like, usually in the Bahamas, the first flight everything's always late.
Yep.
He's like, the first flight was scheduled at 6:40. We probably would have seen that maybe like an hour or so later. The first flight came in at 6:20. For the first time ever, they were actually
Right.
early, and they had no place to put people. I thought that was hilarious. Now, Kev, go ahead.
So then they land in the Bahamas and they get put on yellow school buses,
Yeah.
and they don't know where to take these people. So then they bus them to this. I can't remember the woman's name. God bless the woman because she took care of
Oh
everybody.
man, I
They
felt so
bu-
bad for
yeah,
that lady.
There is a GoFundMe page that's already raised, I think, $200,000 for her.
That's what's up.
Mhm.
That's dope.
I'll plug her name in a minute because someone actually texted me about it earlier. But
Nice.
so they bust the kids to the woman's bar,
Mhm.
and they spend 6 hours there trying to figure out.
Yeah.
At this point, if you're the guy Billy and his crew, like, why would you not just pull the plug on the thing?
Well, it should have been pulled before
It
they
should
even
have been.
flew in there. When they realized they didn't have the houses to, like the one guy who was in control of the flight, the pilot guy who ended up bouncing. He's like,
Right.
"Yo, I'm out of here. You guys. This is a shit show." It was funny because he was like, "Yo, we don't have the housing for you guys. Got 800 people. You're telling me that these the models have to have places to stay, like villas, houses, but the people who are paying don't have anywhere to stay. Like, I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make sense." So he's like, "Yo, I'm out of this. Like, good luck." I had to walk away, but
I mean, they mentioned why they couldn't pull the plug is because they still got. He needed any dime
He had
they
investors.
can make
Yeah.
because he had
Yeah.
to pay the investors back.
Yeah, I think he had the mob.
I thought it was crazy too how they said he'd come in the house that was like where all the decisions were being made, and he
Yeah.
would like make a decision and then like get on his 4-wheeler and just leave.
Yeah, just ride off.
and then come back to the
Yeah.
house, make another decision, and then leave.
He was panicked. He didn't know what to do.
So then all the guests arrived to the venue, and instead of seeing villas and cabanas, they're looking at hurricane relief tents
Right.
that were left there for them
Yes.
to stay in. It just was utter chaos. The
No
whole,
food.
Whole thing was a train wreck.
And then it comes to the point where they have no food, no water.
Oh yeah, pivotal detail. That
Yo, but my thing is this: who are you? Like, who's really paying for it? And yet, and still, even if you pay for it, like, who's showing up? You
What do
I
you mean?
barely got any flight confirmation details.
Marianne Roll is the name of the person, the restaurant owner. Thank you,
shout
Cabana.
out to Cobb.
Yeah, good looking out, Cobb.
But are you actually flying? Are you flying out there if you don't got no real confirmation details? No.
I
Because
mean,
some of them guys
They
was like,
kept
we,
updating that website every day, and the Instagram kept
No.
update.
No.
I mean,
It's not enough.
I don't know.
No,
I probably
need a
would've.
confirmation number
what
or
group of-
something. I need to know my details of where I'm
Well,
staying,
you
an
heard
address.
The marketing companies like Fuck Jerry and the other marketing
Right.
companies that were like working the event, they said they would get like hundreds of
yeah,
messages,
and they, would remove 'em,
and they
right?
were saying remove all those comments and just tell them to reach out to FYRE Fest support, and people would do it, and they wouldn't get any response.
the fact that he had this many alliances with like main
well, he was
companies
paying those
now.
people though.
I mean, but no, Fuck Jerry wanted to be a part of this.
Because the way it
They
was,
saw the buzz, right? The
That's what I
social
mean.
media buzz. What I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
it
like
was
the
a look for all those companies.
absolutely it was, but it just I find that just amazing that he was able to get away with all this. So anyway, now we're in the midst of like chaos. You know, we need food, we need water. You know, and there was a coordinator who was supposedly involved with all of this, and there was
His name was Andy. I don't remember his last name.
so Andy.
King or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was Andy King. You're right.
Right.
Way to know his last name, Mike.
It's Mike's guy.
It's
Yeah,
Mike's
alright.
guy. Right. Yeah, from here on out, that's Mike's guy. So Mike's guy is in charge of basically he had to take one for the team. You know what I mean? Kev tells the story way better than
I don't know really what that would insinuate. If you told me I had to take one for the team here,
Right.
so they tell Andy that there was six like tractor trailers of water.
Yeah,
that
that- The officials were holding it.
the Bohemian officials were holding.
Yes.
And Billy calls Andy and tells him the only way that they're gonna release.
No, he says, listen, Andy, I need you to take
Yeah,
one
I
for
need
the
you
team.
to, the only way they're gonna release the water to us is if you take one for the team. And Andy proceeds to ask Billy, well, what does that exactly mean? He said, you have to go and you have to suck the dick of one of the officials.
Yeah.
And Andy was legitimately on his. He went to do this. He's
Whoa,
like,
whoa.
he
Let's
said-
go through the
he
preparations.
goes,
Go.
I
He's
kinda-
first he said how appalled he was.
Yeah.
He was
Right.
like he's explaining the story. He's like, I was appalled. I couldn't believe in all of my 30 years in the business,
and he's
I
known
have
this guy
never
for years.
Yeah,
this Billy guy for
yeah,
at least 5
I
years.
respect Billy. Billy's he's the smartest guy I know. He's a hell of a salesperson. I would never
Sound
disrespect
like they had
myself
something
like that
going on.
or anything like that. But then I went home.
I used some mouthwash.
I used some mouthwash.
Yo.
Like, oh, wait a minute. Where's this story going? When he starts saying the mouthwash,
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. What is he talking about? Oh, you used some mouthwash, packed up my shit, and got the fuck out
Yeah,
of
that's
there.
what I'm
That's
thinking,
what I'm
yeah.
thinking
Like,
he's about to
I'm
say.
outta here.
Right, I'm out of here. Fuck you guys. But no, that's
Yo, for
not.
whatever reason, he felt so indebted to what was going on, or in bed with.
Ain't
what,
that
everything
much
was going on.
dedication, loyalty in the
That-
world, Mike.
I mean, I totally get it 100%. I'm not bashing. Like I'm not going.
You get it?
You know what I mean?
I don't get it.
No, I totally get it. Like it ain't that much dedication in the world.
Yeah,
that
that's
part.
right.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, yo, like at one point or another, he must have had, for whatever reason, he wouldn't mind participating in that type of activity because he prepared himself
He drove over there.
to go over there to do it.
He was ready.
So he said he got there, and the official was just like, Yeah, just make sure you give me my money.
Yeah,
We're good.
man.
I
Good
just
on
want to get
that.
paid.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
man.
pass
I
on
just
the
wanna get
blowjob.
paid.
Whoa, man. What are you
Yeah.
doing? Like, no,
Yeah.
I just want some money, man. Shit.
So they get the water. Andy's a hero. And then
he don't have to suck no dick, so there you go.
Which he sounded disappointed about. Because first of all, like he wanted to tell that story.
he definitely
Like you could
he
tell.
didn't
First
need
of all,
to tell
who
that
knew
story.
that story outside of
He was
The
like, well,
official knew it.
right?
Andy knew
Andy
it.
knew
and
it,
Billy
and
might have known that
well,
he went over there to
But
do
Billy can't talk because Billy not talking to this one because he got paid off the last one.
Mhm.
The official probably is like, I don't want this
Yeah,
coming
I'm
out
not-
here. I'm married. Like, dude, I don't want you, you know what I mean, talking about I'm good. Like, the only person who would want this story to come out would be Andy.
he was like, well, I might as well tell it because it's gonna get out. I'm like, and then that's when he got into it, like telling the story, like knowing that I'm the only. I didn't even know he was. I wasn't looking for him to be a homosexual. I wasn't like knocking him for being one. I just didn't like. I'm just watching, so I'm not really paying attention until he started telling that story. He got extra.
Andy really made the homosexual community look bad on that one. I have to say, like, y'all
'Cause he
y'all
tried-
gotta feel a way about your mans for real.
Yeah, because he tried to say they asked him to do it, knowing that he was a homosexual,
Right.
and then you agreed to do it.
Right. Like, as a homosexual, I would think that you at least got enough pride in yourself, self-respect for crying out loud, that you ain't just going around here, damn, I can't believe it, sucking random dick. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but goddamn it. Like, oh, what are you doing? I'm just saying. I would think that any person who has self-respect for themselves would not be doing that shit. And, you know, y'all community should probably, you know, feel a way about your mans in them. And I'm going to leave it at that.
So then the festival is a train wreck. It ends.
is a
Everybody leaves. Billy goes back to New York, and he's indicted. He gets arrested.
Yeah.
Released on $300,000 bail, which is crazy that someone posted $300,000 bail. For
Well, that's
this
30
guy.
grand.
What do you get
Oh, yeah,
arrested
you're
for?
right. He got arrested for I thought it was money laundering and
Yeah, something of that.
It was-
racketeering
Ye-
and wire transfer.
I'm not sure if it was racketeering. Definitely was money laundering. Definitely was fraud
Yeah.
because he was falsifying earnings.
Mm-hmm.
And
He made less than 60 grand. They said
off
That's
of all
crazy.
that shit.
no,
The fact that he made anything.
no, but he was reporting that he was making
Yeah, like millions of dollars,
and he made
bro.
less than $60,000. So he gets out on bail, and the nerve of this guy, right?
So first he goes home,
Yeah,
and then he links up with another dude.
he's in this ridiculous penthouse in New York, basically just living his life kind of like he was before, and then he links up with this other guy, Frank, I think
Yeah,
the guy's
Frank.
name
Yep.
was,
mhm. It's Frank,
and Frank is basically just a puppet for Billy.
basically. It's a front.
Yeah. So they start this other company. I can't remember the name of it. It was like NYC VIP something.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
And they're
yep.
basically emailing the same people that purchased tickets to the FYRE Festival.
Anyone on their mailing list.
Yeah, saying, I can get you tickets to the Met Gala, which you
They
can't
don't sell
buy tickets to.
Yo.
I can get you VIP tickets to the Grammys
Yeah.
and all these other exclusive events. And it's a front. The
Yeah.
whole thing is just another scam
Yeah.
where he's stealing money from people and not delivering on any of his promises. A very interesting documentary. This guy is in jail now for what, 10 years?
Is he locked up?
Yeah, he's
I
locked
don't
up.
think.
I don't
right
think he's
now.
locked up right now.
I believe he was.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see he was locked up. I seen him walking down the street and them trying to interview him and ask him a question. And
I
he
thought at
denying
the
it.
end he said he was in jail.
I thought he was out on bail, like
Yeah,
Pop.
I thought it was too. I didn't think I didn't think he got locked up yet. And the funny thing about it is not funny, but like the crazy part about it is as you're telling these stories and I'm watching, I'm like, God damn it! Like when the black guy was talking.
I felt bad for him because he took all the he was like the supervisor for all the
No,
work.
not him.
Oh,
Not him.
okay.
I'm talking about
the other guy.
the
that
other
was
guy
in jail.
who,
When
yeah,
he was like,
yo,
I ain't going to jail.
yeah. And when he was talking, I was like, damn. Like if you're sitting in that room having a conversation with that guy, and you've been through what he's been through, the guy that was locked up, you gotta be thinking to yourself, the nerve of this motherfucker.
Mhm.
The privilege of this
Yeah.
mother. How the hell are you getting away with all this shit? Like that's what I was thinking the entire time I'm watching, and I'm like, damn, I know that dude got to feel a real way about this. Like
He
goodness
even
gracious.
said that.
Yeah, he
was
did. He
just
did say
like,
it. He's like,
from
oh.
a different world.
He
just
said
didn't-
it. I'm
couldn't-
not going to jail.
He's like, I explained to him what jail was like, and he just couldn't comprehend. Like this,
When-
I'm not built for that. I'm not
Yeah,
going to jail.
when he said, yeah, it was like, well, I'm just not going there. what? Like you got
He
a
had a
choice.
choice.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, oh, I ain't going then. Oh, that's what jail is. Like it was like Cuz was like, yeah, man. He was telling them the first day, right? And first week or so, first couple weeks, like 23-1, legit. Like, yo, you go in, you gotta go get processing. You know, before you go to gym pop and everything, they gonna put you in here, blah blah blah. You know, just breaking it down. And Billy was just like, oh, is that what it is? Oh no, I'm not doing that. I'm good. I ain't going to jail. Hey, Mike, I ain't going to jail. I'm
Hey,
good.
privileged to say
You know
the
what I'm
least.
saying? I'm straight. I'm good.
So if you haven't seen that yet, definitely check it out. It's on Netflix. Haven't watched the Hulu one, but definitely check the FYRE Festival documentary out on Netflix.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to Thad, man. I see you joined us, man. Good looking out, man. So we was talking about we getting people asking us about this whole we started pre-production listening to this little
Middle
song.
Child. Middle Child record by J. Cole.
It felt like a middle child.
Ooh, what that mean?
1, 2 great, 1, 2 small. And just
You didn't like it?
There in the middle. I wasn't impressed.
What about you, Mike? What did you think?
I mean, I'm not gonna say I was mad at it.
I mean, we only gave it one
Dude.
spin. We only gave one spin because it dropped like right before the. You stole my line, bro.
You late?
Yeah. We only drop at 9 o'clock tonight. They've been hyping this record up for at
Saw
least a week now. The whole rollout of the Dreamville sessions I thought was phenomenal. The way they did that with the social media thing.
Not if this is the product they putting out.
Or
If this is the product they're putting out, I'm very.
I don't think
if this is the first product they put out after all that,
so
that's crazy. Bro.
Dreamville Festival is in 3 months.
Okay.
I don't think that this is off of the Dreamville album. I think this is off. Remember when Cole did the Album of the Year freestyle?
Yeah.
He hints at the end of that he's going to drop another KOD album. I can't remember what the name of it was.
Right.
So I think that this is that project because it never came out. It was supposed to come out, I think, in the summertime. So I think the rollout will be the new Cole project, and then right before Dreamville Fest, that other project drops. There's got to be so much material for them, too, that they recorded over that 16-day period because there were so many artists and producers there. I mean, they probably have more than just one album.
So when are we going to be able to just, like, say in some cases the rollout and the hype is better than the actual product? When are people going to start admitting that?
So give me an example of an...
we just talked about one.
Okay, so that's one.
We're talking about one right now.
And we're talking about another
It's
one?
one
Oh, wow.
song. It's one song.
No, what I'm saying, and I ain't even criticizing or judging that song. I'm just saying, like, yeah, it was a lot of hype for it, and I know we only gave it like a quick little spin, but I didn't really put it like this. And I was saying this earlier. I didn't get the vibe from when I first heard the A Lot joint, which I didn't even know that was the track. Like that, everybody was like buzzing and hyping up because I try not to pay attention to that. I just want to listen. Like when Meek album come out, everybody talking about the one with Jay is this. So it's really hyping you up before you even get a chance to hear it and inform your own opinion. And that's the only thing I'm saying about like that joint I mean, the song was tight. The beat was solid. You know, he was spitting. But I like the 21 A Lot joint better because I just liked it better. It felt better to me.
You like that beat better too, though, because that's like a laid back.
It's a better beat for Cole, and that's my problem with this middle school song. I keep calling it middle school because it sounds childish.
Oh, shoot. Where is the shot at?
No, listen, man, because if you think about it, it's a T- beat, but it sounds like it could be a Cole beat. And the biggest beef that you have with Cole is that he don't rap over unique enough beats, in my opinion. That beat, that 21 beat, that's a Cole beat that I would like to hear, that another producer produced, that I would like to hear Cole on. And I hear a lot of beats like that, that he raps over, like last year. We talked about it. Cole probably was lyricist of the year. We could probably make that argument between him and maybe one or two other people based upon their features alone. And then what made their features so strong is that they were doing something different, doing something outside the norm. And his normal stuff, that T- beat, it sound like a KOD. It sound like one of the KOD clips that was left on the floor. That they was like, you know what, let's just put this out real fast. I mean, I like Cole. You know how I fucks with Cole.
I like the second verse on it.
The second verse is cool. I mean, it was cool.
I mean, I'm sure all the verses, not for nothing, is going to be solid.
Right.
But like Greg saying, like, sometimes variety is always good.
You need to mix it up, and it just don't seem like he mixes it up enough for me. At least when he comes out with his own. I would have rather heard JID on that track, or Boss on that track, or you know what I mean. Put one of your artists on a track that you want to produce, and let's hear what they do with you know what I mean that style. But I need him to. He needs to diversify, bro. Like I'm sorry, and I want to keep this 100 to the viewing public. I really like Cole. I really like the KOD album. I just like, on the heels of all that hype around the Greenville sessions, this is the first thing that I get to hear. All right. I mean, okay. I mean,
I like
That's a
it.
man's opinion.
I mean, I know Kev gonna like it. I mean,
liked it.
Kev's here for it.
It's not really too much you say you don't like.
That's 100%.
I ain't mad at it.
Not true.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
here for it.
If you're rapping, I
No,
typically
I'm
like
talking
it.
about based on who the artist is.
Yeah.
Like I knew you weren't gonna be like,
Oh, that shit was trash.
yeah, he's not gonna say that.
Nah,
Based
I'm
on
gonna tell you it's trash if it's trash. I mean,
Nah,
if there Cole can rap, so I know what I'm gonna get when I hear a Cole record.
But you're a Cole fan.
no, you're
though.
not
Sure.
because you know what?
So
it's
it's
funny
different.
that you say that.
Tell me
'cause
when
I said that about Nas, I said when we was talking about Nas,
Yeah,
and that Nas album, I was
the Nas
like,
album was not good.
the Nas
Come on,
album was
man.
just
We
not
going back
good.
It
to
was
that
not
again.
good.
Why not? Nas was rapping. You know what you're gonna get.
You
when
know
you
what
get
you're gonna
a
get with
Nas
The album
Nas.
was
album.
not good.
Okay,
No.
so you're mad at the beats.
And I was mad at the selection of songs too. Like with the Nas album, we've talked about this at nauseum at this point. You pick 7 songs. I wouldn't have picked those 7.
You don't know what anything else
It do-
sound like.
You're right. I don't.
That could have been only 7 tracks.
And this is my argument, right? You pick out of all those sessions, you got one joint to drop, and this is what you picked to drop. And
Yeah,
that's
my
the
same point with the Nas album.
Yeah, so the underwhelming feeling that you got with Nas, that's how I feel about the Cole. It's like, really? Like after this
I think
week
that
long
happens
campaign,
a lot, though.
like this is what y'all came up with? This shit? Like, come on, bro. Like, nah. I need more than that.
Yo, shout out to Cobb.
Oh, because he's supporting what
Nas'
you're
album
saying.
was trash. I'm a huge fan. Exactly. I'm a huge fan of Nas too.
Okay. I mean,
Listen,
I
bro.
don't
but
agree
why
with.
why are there flames with the after the it's part? I hope he's not talking about middle school.
He
Is
is.
middle school fire,
I can't
Cobb?
believe you calling it middle.
Is that what it is? Yeah, I mean, like, no, it's not. That's not fire. And he said he wanted us to talk about this.
What did
crap.
you expect to hear when you heard that Cole track today?
Something I hadn't heard from Cole before.
Which would be what?
A different style of beat.
If Cole would have
Maybe
came
Cole
out
rapping fast for a
dissing
change.
some rapper.
Okay, that's different for Cole. Yeah, that's very different. Like saying the name, yeah, that's very
okay,
different
saying
for Cole.
the name, yeah, but what
Yeah.
if it was a subliminal record where he's just throwing darts at somebody?
To who?
Change the flow. Give me some type of. Tell me some type of story.
Make it creative.
Yeah, give me a
man,
different.
like, you gotta, make
you know
it
what? I
super
just don't. I
creative.
really just don't want him to fall into that trap that even like Eminem did. Like once Eminem started producing, it's like everything just sounded like you can tell he produced it. Is an Eminem? It not for nothing to me. To me, like his career kind of went on that downward spiral, and then he tried to revitalize it.
Yeah.
By getting Just Blaze and some other people in there. But at that point, you had already lost some people's attentions because it was a couple of albums that just wasn't doing what it should have been doing.
Wasn't hitting it, right? And I would be afraid that I could see Cole falling into that similar category, right? Because if he falls in that similar category, that's exactly what's going to end up happening. He's going to find himself rapping over only beats that he produces, and he's just going to become the rapidy rapper like Eminem is. Like that whole 1982 song that he had, 1985 song that he had, where he's talking about, he got bars that'll last, forever, and
Right.
longevity is on his side and all that. That goes out the window if you got whack producers. It just does.
Speaking of production, should we jump? What you thinking? Jump
Yeah.
to the playlist?
We could do that.
I mean, we definitely could do
Y'all
that,
wanna
man.
do that? Why not? Go ahead. I want to hear what y'all got first, because this is gonna be an interesting.
Are we wrapped up
playlist.
on Cole? I just want to make sure we're
I
clear that
think-
Cole song is trash and we can move on.
Yeah, why beat a dead horse? I'm not saying it's trash.
I'm here for the Cole track. It's
Okay.
definitely not trash.
I'm here
Yeah,
for
I'm
it.
not
It's
saying
definitely not trash. If you
Can't
want to talk
afford
about some trash, we could talk about that Future album that came out last week.
I didn't even listen to it. I didn't waste my time on
Yeah,
it, but I did hear it was trash.
Joint is trash.
I have another conversation about Future that I want to get into, but it'll take too much time. We don't even got the time this week. So let's go into the playlist.
So this is the Commission Podcast Playlist Season 3 Playlist 4. This is available exclusively on Spotify.
Yes, sir.
If you think your music is good enough to make the playlist, you can send tracks to thecommissionpod@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Instagram @thecommissionpod, or you can hit us up on Twitter @commissionpod. Playlist is available exclusively on Spotify, and it features new music, throwbacks, and unsigned artists. So who wants to go first? This is a So Def themed playlist this week.
Kev, let me ask you this. Yeah, why did you want to do this?
I thought it was cool last week that we did the Rockefeller playlist, and then the previous one we had the female playlist, and then we've talked about So Def so much on the show, and since Mike's part of the So Def camp, I think he has an address P.O. box in Atlanta. I thought it was only right. Yeah.
Headquarters is at his house. You know that, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was. I mean, I got some other ideas too for future playlists, but I think the So Def one is
long overdue.
Yeah, they just had the 25 years of.
That's true.
Wasn't that last year?
Nah, that was
I think
this
it was
year.
the summertime. I mean,
Well,
yeah,
it was. You know, it was
like
last year.
3
My
weeks
bad.
into
This year is
the
only
year,
a couple
whatever.
weeks.
Come on.
You right. You right. Greg got some sarcasm,
Yeah,
but you know that's cool.
He's the guy that says, "See you next year on December 30th."
You're damn right.
When he leaves
Yeah,
work.
man.
Yeah, he's that guy.
Yeah. I say Happy New Year until I've seen you. Like if I haven't seen you in June till June, hey, Happy New Year, bro.
So last night I was going through the So Def catalog. Jermaine doesn't have that many albums per se.
He only has like that one,
only
that
got two for himself.
1945
Yeah.
shit.
I think it was 14.
This how
Whatever.
disrespectful this is, though. We supposed to be doing the playlist. I'm listening to Greg say this shit, and
Yo, I wanted to ask you about that
man,
album though,
disrespectful.
Mike. 'cause
which album?
The Life in was it Life in
1472?
1472?
Times.
Is
Right.
that actually a movie?
Nah.
Because it says
say
like
the original
soundtrack. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? I don't understand the title of that
That's
album.
just
It was supposed to
creative.
be. So what? Yeah, like Greg saying, it was supposed to be like.
It was like when we used to say episode 1000.
It was created in a way that each song was supposed to be like his own little, like I guess sketch or like his own little sketch of a day in the life.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, hey,
That's
it
the
was
thing.
98. I think that came out in 98, right?
You are
so,
absolutely right, man. It is crazy that you knew that.
So I mean, it was yeah.
Why would you expect him not to know that?
I don't
Because
know.
keeping
That
keeping-
album's old
Work
enough to
there,
drink.
man.
the album's old enough to
okay.
drink.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 20 years. It's 20
21.
years. 21 years old this year. That's what's up. And then keep in mind, it was a lot of. I mean, Jay's. Let's get to the playlist. Let's get to the playlist.
Alright. So you want to set it off?
Nah, I want to see what
Yeah,
y'all got.
yeah. Mike has to go last on this one because I'm pretty sure I'm just picking the popular shit.
All right, so
Okay.
I'll go. I got off the Life in 1472 soundtrack. The track's called "You Get Dealt," and it was featuring Mace and Little Kim. Remember that joint?
I do. I wasn't a big fan.
You
of
didn't
it.
like it? I thought
Nah.
I like Mace on it, man. I mean, I'm a fan of Mace. So
Okay.
Mace's flow was legit. You're probably not gonna like my songs then, Mike. This was a smash. I remember this song when I was in like high school, maybe. INOJ. I don't even think you.
Oh no, I know you're talking about off the All Stars.
I think it was off Ready for the World, their album.
Okay.
It's called Love You Down. You remember that joint?
Yep.
And then I had Destiny's Child, the Jumpin' joint.
Remix.
Yeah, they had the Brat and Bow Wow on it.
Okay.
And then
Greg's not impressed.
I had the Drew Hill, In My Bed, So Def remix.
Well,
I mean,
that's
that's a
good.
classic.
Well, that's gonna be on there twice then, because I mean I don't got a whole bunch of social. I didn't know he was going 4 deep, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, those are my 4 tracks. I mean, I could keep going because Jermaine had so many hits, right?
You could.
I mean, you got the Anthony Hamilton joints on there. You could put.
You could. You
could.
could. But I want to see this. What I like about this playlist is that I want to see how even after the Hall of Fame and all this other stuff, how people could chop it up and say, oh yeah, like his contribution was so minimal into the game. So Greg, let's see what
I
you
didn't
got.
pick one JD track, just so you're.
No,
Yeah, he's not. Actually, no, he is on that Mace joint. He raps on that.
yeah, he does.
Okay.
Let's go.
I don't consider any of these JD tracks, but I had my first one was Sleeping in My Big remix. I'm from Baltimore. Drew Hill, that kind of helped propel them.
But
So
that's
I
not
give
a JD track though.
Did he write "Sleeping in My Bed"?
He didn't write it.
Yeah,
I'm
he
talking
just
about
did the
produced
remix.
it, though.
He just
He
produced
rapped
the
on
remix.
it. Actually, he does get writing credits.
I don't think he
rapped.
wrote
You want to
Jumpin'
dance?
Jumpin'.
I'm
No,
gonna
no,
make
no,
you
he
dance.
has
He
a
gets.
ver-
Yeah, well, he did write that part.
Don't
You
him and
wanna
Brat
dance.
got verses on that song?
Brat has a verse on that song.
Yeah.
Jermaine has they
Jermaine
they
did the
going
ad
back
libs.
and
He
forth.
definitely got a writing credit.
Okay, bro. All right. I'm just
I'm-
not that.
I just like that. The hate is crazy.
How's that
Like,
hate, man?
Damn, he
Greg's
rapped,
coming
Brat
for
rap.
JD.
I didn't
Yeah.
consider this a JD song
Alright,
because
go
it was a
ahead.
remix. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry. It
That's
was
fine.
"Sleeping in My Bed" was an original, Drew Hill song.
It went nowhere. That's why the remix came out, like you just said,
My
and
God.
propelled it. Go
No,
ahead,
I said
though.
it helped propel, but whatever.
Go ahead.
The second one, you tell me, because maybe it does. JD maybe raps on this one too. The B-side, the Brat featuring Big.
He does rap on it,
Okay,
but this is the
they
So
didn't-
Def thing.
It's
They
still-
didn't
yeah,
credit
it don't
him.
matter. He could be on
Yeah.
the song. This is
I don't
so
know.
deaf.
I didn't hear him rap on it. I mean, okay. I know the Brat raps on it because she spits on the joint. But okay. And then there you go. Here's one that I know JD rapped on. All right, for a fact.
I like this. Go ahead.
No,
go
I'm
ahead.
just letting you know. I know for a fact.
Balling
right?
out of control.
Not quite. Not quite.
That almost made mine. I was listening on the way up.
Ooh, I think they like me remix.
Oh, them franchise boys.
You already know. The Brat, JD, and one Bow Weezy. That's the official So Def conglomerate right there.
You know what is crazy that nobody picked so far? I didn't even pick it. Didn't he do that Jaquan joint?
Yeah.
Which
Tipsy.
Tipsy?
Yeah, he did do Tipsy.
That joint was a
But it-
smash.
that was just on the label. Jermaine didn't do that beat. No.
Oh, he didn't?
Nah.
Okay.
But it's So Def, though.
Yeah,
Yeah. No.
So
You
Def.
right.
Yeah, it's
You
So
right.
Def.
Yeah.
I mean, we doing the So Def list.
You right.
All right, Mike.
I'm gonna
What you
slow
got
it
out there?
down.
I like
So-
Hood Hop, too. That
Yeah.
Jaquan
He was rapping.
Hood.
That beat was
Yeah,
hot.
that Hood Hop joint was good.
Mike's
Alright.
going to So Def Vaults.
I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. We're gonna throw some,
Of course,
some
Jagged.
jagged edge out there. Why
Why
not?
not? Why
Why not? I mean, who had the longer career though? Was it Jagged Edge or Drew Hill? What are we talking about?
We've already had this conversation a couple weeks ago.
What
Wait
are
a minute,
we
who
talking
did?
about?
You tell me.
Who did?
Who
What are we
did?
Come
talking
on, man.
about?
We know who did.
Like
Who did?
Jagged Edge had a
Oh
longer
my
career.
goodness.
Jagged Edge didn't start when Drew Hill started. You do realize
Jagged
that,
Edge
right?
started in
What
'97.
Drew have? 2 albums? 3 albums?
How many Jagged Edge?
A lot more than like
5,
6,
6?
7.
Relevant albums?
Oh my
Stop.
goodness.
What's over? What do you mean? Hold on. All right, let's do
You
some
hit a
numbers.
bias.
Uh-uh.
Yo, I'm about to be like
Hold up.
Adrian Broner was.
Hold up.
You already
Let's go ahead.
discussed it for me to begin
Yo, we
with.
didn't even talk about that today.
Let's
Yo.
pull up some stats.
Let's go with
Yo,
it.
Drew Hill had Enter the Dragon, right? Drew Hill, the self-titled joint.
Okay.
And
I just know the first one, the second one. I think the third one came like 10 years later or
did.
something like that.
I think the third
And-
one didn't even have all the members.
And
did
they
it?
swapped it out. No, they got some new members
Yeah.
and replaced it. Listen, man. Are we really being serious? Why are we even?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to go Jagged Edge Remedy. Slow it down a little
Okay.
bit. Man, Greg actually did take up the B-side because that was one of my, I like that track. Something that may not be on Spotify, though, man, which would suck. But the Big Papa remix, I'm not sure if y'all heard that.
Yeah.
You heard that?
It's on the Biggie joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was. I thought it was dope.
Okay.
Some remix. That song was it was a hard song to remix. Period, just because of the wave it had. But I think that remix was dope. We waiting for Greg to keep.
Greg's on page 3.
Oh, no,
of,
I'm sitting
page
here.
3 of Google right now.
I'm on the first. I'm actually reading an article.
Oh,
The
man.
first link on Google, Drew Hill versus Jagged Edge, and I'm just scrolling down. I'm just saying, Drew Hill. Truth be told, Drew Hill might be a top 5 R&B group of all time.
You gotta be kidding me.
I mean, I'm just reading, bro. I mean, I'm trying to find some information
Yo,
on
is it
Jagged.
is it the
Honestly,
Balls?
honestly, I'm scrolling trying to find information on
It's all
Jagged.
good.
That's what
You
I'm trying to do.
Baltimore
Okay, here we
Sun
go.
website
Here
or
we go.
something? Yeah.
Here we got
Yeah.
let's
By
see
yourself.
Jagged and the Atlanta group. Here's how they introduce. This is the difference in introduction.
Uh-huh.
The Jagged Edge. Now I told you how they introduced Drew Hill. You know, this might be one of the greatest
don't know how
groups
they-
of our.
oh,
I
that's
just
they
told
said?
you. I just told you. Yeah, that's
Maybe.
what I read. Jagged Edge. The Atlanta group came onto the scene in 1997 and surprised many with their harmony and their style. That's a lot. That's a far cry from they might be the greatest R&B group of all
Greg,
time
so
to
one
start.
man's opinion
I'm just no, it's not one. All right,
is,
let's go
is
to another
gospel.
one. Let's
That's
go
what
to
he
another
said.
one. All right,
The
no,
conversation
let's-
went from
let's-
who had the better career to the
let's
greatest
go
R&B group
to
of
Yeah,
all
that ain't the
time.
greatest group of all time. So all right,
Drew Hill
okay.
had 3 albums.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Here's another one, right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, nah. Top 5 R&B groups of our generation. You know, all right. 112 and Jagged Edge could have easily taken the top 5. Hold on. What is that?
Whoa.
Yeah, it is.
112 and Jagged Edge.
I know it is. I'm trying to figure it out.
Now he's trying to go to another,
No,
another publication. Let's go.
I'm not. Here we go. All right. Oh, it goes to top 5. Okay. Honorable mention in descending order. Okay, I see what it's doing. So they have Drew Hill as number 5, and they said the top 5 male R&B groups of our generation. Honorable mentions in descending order: 112, Jagged Edge, Guy, Immature, Shy, Next, Silk, and Men Condition. Then they have number 5 is Drew Hill. Number 4, they have Blackstreet. Shout out to Blackstreet. They don't get enough credit.
They had one album.
It was a great album. Number 3 is Joe Desi.
You could name more than
Number
2
2
songs
is
off
New
that album,
Edition. And number 1, Boys and Men. Can't believe Boys and Men was number 1. But I'm just going by different articles. I'm just going different sites. I mean, I'm not, you know what I mean? No biasness over here because I know that's what I get accused of.
Anywho,
How many songs you got left?
I'm just gonna hit one more because I don't want to,
Y'all
Yeah.
killed
This could be
me.
a totally different.
Y'all killed me.
show.
You know what I'm saying? I'm
Just
just
in
going
R&B,
through
just talking about
joint.
R&B
I'm
groups.
just going through the jump.
And it's just a shout out for Missy, man.
Quiet when I start reading shit. I don't know what's that.
Quiet.
Greg's reading his old MySpace page.
Yeah, I know.
About. He's like real quiet. When you start hitting people with
With
facts.
videos of him.
When you start hitting people with facts,
You sound like
yeah,
Trump over
yeah,
here,
you
don't
know
he?
what I mean?
Yeah.
When you
He
start
sound
hitting
like-
people with facts,
he
and they
sound like
come
45 over here.
and they return with jokes. You know what I mean?
Yo, he sound like 45.
That's
over
actually
here.
the opposite. You know what I
You
mean?
do
I'm
sound
not
like
the one
45.
giving. You know what I mean?
You'll be any publication.
I'm not
that's
the
bigging
one
you
just.
up.
I'm not the one
or
that's
bigging up
just
your
trying to
opinion.
throw shots at people that's
I'm
hitting
not
you with
throwing
facts.
shots.
I'm just like, yo,
Greg's
man, it's a
serving us
fact, bro.
hamburgers and cheeseburgers and
There we
chicken
go.
nuggets.
There we go. Another shot. You know what I mean?
Yo.
Read something.
Yeah.
Tell me something.
Like I was saying,
You know what I
man.
mean?
Shout out to
Produce
Missy.
something. Come
Shout
on.
out to Missy for the Songwriters Hall of Fame. I'm gonna throw this remix to Brat. That was on it was on Big Mama's House soundtrack. Heard, I think it's JD, Missy, Lil Mo.
See Lil Mo on the Breakfast Club today?
No, she was on there. I'm gonna check it out. That's what I'm looking for though. The remix.
Let me ask y'all this. What's the most recent song that we put on this playlist? Like, what's the most recent date?
Oh, on
the
this.
song?
Oh,
play-
it's
I
definitely.
mean, we could have put something on here.
I just
recent.
asked the question.
I mean, we
it's,
could have.
it's
I just
it's
asked
not the last
question.
decade.
No,
I purposely didn't pick like.
What?
Granted,
Purposely
when
you
was
didn't pick
the
what?
last
What?
time
I was about to
JD
say what?
put out an
I was
album.
about to say what?
It's
What
been
did
10
you
years
purpose?
since JD put an album?
But you
out.
said you purposely didn't pick what? What did you-
songs that were like newer songs.
like what?
I
Name
could
one.
have picked the joint off the Mariah album.
Like what? Name one.
I don't know the name
got
of the
one on
song.
there with
yeah,
the one
but
with
it's
Lil
got
Kim.
one on there.
Oh, okay.
But
I
and-
could have
and-
picked the song
wow.
off of Usher's album,
Which one?
not the new album, but the last one. Yeah.
So what's the most
Okay,
recent?
all right.
Well, I don't
Drew
understand
Hill
what's the
song
point of the
that's out?
question.
Yeah,
I just
don't
asked the
understand that either.
question. Like, yo, I mean, because we're naming, we did a whole so deaf playlist,
Let
and
me
I
throw
just
another one
asked
on
the
this
question:
playlist.
what's
Throw
the
that hate in
most
your blood on
recent?
Yeah,
one
yeah.
that we
Throw
have
your
on
blood
there.
on there because there's a lot of hate.
There
and
definitely
Greg's
is.
Ask
blood
what's the
right
most
now.
recent one?
know
Was
what I
that
mean?
was that in the past decade?
Yo,
Hate and Blood. That's the
it
new
don't
one?
matter because
I
it's
just wanted
still
to know.
relevant to this day.
Well, hold on.
I
Last
just know
week's
it's the
playlist
right one, the relevant
was
one.
not relevant to this decade.
Well, last week we didn't have a debate about their hierarchy and
You
history.
said it. This could be another show anyway. It's taking way too much time. This could be another show. I repeated what you said. You said that remix helped propel. That's what he said.
I did, and
And
I hope.
then he tried to beat it down and
No,
say
I didn't.
well,
I
they didn't write anything
explained
on it.
No, I didn't.
That's
No.
like somebody bigging you up to take you back down. And that's what he basically tried to do.
I bigged you up.
Greg, let me ask you this.
I bigged you up.
What songs, since we're talking relevancy, right? Let's say Jagged Edge and Drew Hill is not relevant today, though.
Yes, sir.
But if you were to go out, let's say if you go to a wedding, whose song would you hear first? A Jagged Edge song, or would you hear
What, the
Drew Hill
Getting
song?
Married song?
You're not gonna hear
The Getting
Sleeping
Married
in My
song?
Bed at a wedding. You're definitely gonna hear Let's Get Married though.
Actually, I don't know if I'm
you
gonna
may
hear
hear
Let's Get
Promise.
Married.
You may hear Let's Get Married.
I don't know
You
if
may
I
hear
hear
some other
Promise.
tracks.
I'm gonna definitely hear Let's Get Married. I mean, it's Let's Get
I don't-
Married.
I
It's
don't-
the title
what-
of the song.
Hey, I'm just saying. Maybe they was a little bit wiser when they was making music, so they picked something that's going to get played repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly. That's what people try to do.
I just
right?
wish more people considered them a top 5 act.
Okay.
That's all.
Hey,
That's all I was saying. I didn't say I didn't. I just said I'm going through
We'll
the record.
discuss this at a later date.
I'm just
You know
trying
what
to
I mean?
figure out why people don't consider him a
Obviously-
top 5 artist.
Obviously, his
A
catalog
top
over
5
there.
R&B group. That's all I was trying to uncover. I mean, audience at home. I know you guys aren't watching anymore, but please, tell me.
Yeah,
I
you
need
can
to
leave.
know.
I'm gonna have. I'll make a. Well, you can leave it in the comments on
Put a
our
poll
IG
up.
page. Yeah, we
You know
will.
what? We should put a poll up in
Interesting.
our story. Put a poll
I
up
have a
and see
great
what happens.
idea for an episode that we could do a bracket for the R&B, the top R&B groups or artists, and we
I
could
feel
have.
like we've tried
You
to
know what we
bracket
we
thing
could
before.
have the listeners vote each week, and we could see track who's winning.
I it sounds familiar, but I like the idea. Do we have enough
We did a bracket.
R&B acts for that type of bracket?
Maybe the field won't be 64.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. But anyway,
Interesting.
we got any shots before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. I got a couple shots real fast. I want to shout out to our podcast listeners, right? So we got a lot of people who we've influenced that have gone out and done things on their own. So I'm gonna shout out the 456 podcast. I'm gonna shout out Grits in the City podcast, which is girls raised in the South and the city.
I like that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grits in the City. And then I'm going to shout out Pop Not Soda podcast. You know what I mean? Shout out to those who was able to check in on the live feed tonight. You know, we did something a little different. More of that to come with much better lighting so you can see Kev and Mike's, faces and stuff. And yeah, man, that's basically it, bruh. Mike, what you got?
I mean, you took it from me. Yo.
That
Shout
was
out
you
to
going to say? My
everybody
bad,
that's
man.
listening, you know what I
I'm
mean?
sorry, bruh.
So yeah, shout out to Cobb. He checked in tonight. Chantel the 1, Mike Sweeney, the 456 boys, Thad 215.
Thad checking for you, Show Me.
And all the other
You
listeners.
might want to, put some respect on Thad's name because he looking for you. He said
Okay.
you got a 5X hoodie with his name on it that he ain't seen
I
yet.
haven't seen any money yet for any of this stuff.
I mean, I'm just
Ooh,
saying.
is that
Anyway.
a shot?
Ooh.
We need that on the board. That
I mean-
secondary board needs to be here.
Hey man,
ASAP.
hey man, somebody's listening. I tell you.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah. Shout out to all the listeners. You can make sure in the upcoming weeks too, we're gonna be the exclusive podcast on Podbean. So for our listeners, if you don't have the Podbean
Yes.
app on the Android or the Google, or Android or the Apple,
The
wow,
Google.
the Google,
The Google.
the Google. That's
Yo,
definitely.
how
a
old
drop.
are you, bro?
The Android or the iPhone, download the Podbean app, and we will be the featured podcast in the coming weeks. We'll let you know when that is.
Download it now. No, get prepared. We coming.
All right, we out.
Peace.
The commission.